Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, please do me a favor and subscribe. Would really help us out. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. You know, I'm a comic book guy, so I'm really excited today. I've got actor, writer, director Keith Sutliff on. So welcome, Keith.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this one, and we've got to talk Cyclops Chronicles. But before we do that, tell me a little about yourself. What made you want to get into the entertainment business? How'd you go about that?
Yeah, I've always since I was a kid, I've always loved movies. I've always wanted to get into movies, and I think for a lot of people, the first thing you see in a movie is you see the actors. So that's like the first thing you think of or want to do, which involved in film. So that was something that I always wanted to pursue, and I was always interested in also directing and getting into the whole creative process of producing and writing my own material as well. So I came to Hollywood, Los Angeles in 2012. I got to acting in Tampa, Florida back in like 2010, 2011. And then, I started booking some gigs, feature films, short films and stuff as an actor. And then I went to a film school program after that in 2014. And I learned filmmaking and started creating my own material and my company in 2016, early 2016. And from there, just been rolling, man.
I think that's kind of interesting. So you got your feet wet, then you went to school, then you came out and started your own company. I mean, that's not the usual trajectory.
Right. Yeah, no, it's not. You know what? The funny about it's a good thing you said. The funny about Hollywood, there's no specific path for an actor or for anyone who's really trying to do anything in the business. There's no like one set path. So it's like there's some people the audition route works, and they get a lot of roles and jobs and stuff. But then for other people, it doesn't. So I didn't want to rely on agents, managers, and producers, stuff and jobs. So I started creating my own content and started making my own stuff and became a filmmaker as well as an actor, and I acted my own stuff. So that's kind of how, that's how I got involved more so in the business and really indulge myself that way.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. So did you start like with the company? Did you start with like short films and then kind of build from there? How did you get your feet wet that way?
Right. Yeah. So I started doing short films while I was in the school in 2014. Okay. And for like 2 years almost, I was doing short films and kind of trying to perfect, or trying to, fine tune my craft and stuff. And in early 2016, I opened my company, LLC, and then I did my first feature in June of 2016. So once I opened my company, I was just sitting on doing features and doing, actual stuff I could distribute for money and make, profit, make a living off this. So I didn't do short films after that. So after I got out of the film program and opened the company, I stopped doing that. I started doing features. Now I'm doing episodic stuff. So it's like, so yeah, I mean, I've done that since I've done commercial content stuff for other people. But yeah, short films were how I started, but I haven't done them since film school.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. So when you were coming up through high school, what were you doing? Were you in theater or were you playing sports? What were you doing in high school?
Yeah, you know what? I played football when I was in high school for like 5 years, all the way till my sophomore year. And then I stopped just because of injuries and just got tired of it. But I was not involved in theater. I probably should have, I didn't really know exactly. I was always interested in film and acting and stuff, but I wasn't really sure what career path I really wanted. But it was always a love of mine. But no, I wasn't involved in that. Probably should have been. But
well, we all say that, hindsight.
I mean, not everyone does that, in the high school route, but I was not involved in theater.
Yeah. So what made you choose Cyclops? I mean, were you an X-Men fan? Were you a comic book fan? What made you choose, I guess to me, Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men. I know there's been a ton of leaders, but to me, he's the leader.
No, he is the leader. He's the leader. I grew up watching that 90s cartoon, man. X-Men series. Every Saturday morning, dude, as a kid, I remember I would come on. I was always watching it. Loved it. Loved the comic books, of course, like a lot of people. But for me, how the whole series came about and how this whole project came about was, I had my producing buddy and me during the beginning of the pandemic. We're just talking and hanging out, and we were talking about there's a lot of stuff on like YouTube of like these fan films of like Darth Maul, like Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's other X-Men ones of Gambit, Wolverine. And these fan films, man, are getting millions and millions and millions and millions of views, more so than more than some of these TV shows that are out there on these networks. That there's more people watching, there's more of a following. So we were talking like, this would be the idea came about. It was like there's never been one done by a filmmaker, well, for Cyclops as a fan film or as a studio film of Cyclops Origins. As a fan film, a studio film, an episodic, anything. So, and he's the leader of the X-Men. So we thought it'd be a great idea to do one of him. And people I've seen online have people have asked about it. I've seen, and people talked about, the Fox movies, or I think that's Fox made it. The X-Men movies that came out in the early 2000s. Like, he was kind of a wimp. He was not this hard ass guy. He didn't get much screen time.
It was a little disappointing.
Right, and when you look at the comic books, he's this hard ass freaking alpha male dude, man. He kicks ass. Like, for a lot of the comic books, some of them he's like a little pretty boy, but a lot of them he's this hard ass guy. So, we wanted to. That's what inspired us to do it. All these things combined, and we wanted to show based off the comic books, and then also put our own interpretation, into it as well.
Yeah, I love it. The '90s cartoon is coming back.
I heard that, dude. They said that. I heard that like a couple weeks ago. That's crazy. I freaking love to watch it.
Everybody loves that. So in the '90s, I was in the early '90s. I was in college, and I had a couple of comic book stores. That's how I was putting myself through school. I ran a couple of comic book stores. Oh, nice. That '90s cartoon, we would have that thing playing just constantly, just in the background stuff. And you'd always have people sitting around watching that thing. Yeah. Everybody loved that.
Yeah. No, it's great. The cartoon was awesome, man. That was a hit show, dude. In the 90s, every morning it would come on, and that was huge. That was a huge hit. So I'm glad they're bringing it back. Actually,
yeah, me too. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So tell me about the. It's episodic, right? So it's going to be how many episodes is the show going to have? What are we focusing on with Cyclops?
For sure. Originally we planned to do 5 episodes, but it might expand to however many we want. So we're in the process. We've done pilot episode. We're doing more right now. We're filming. Every episode is no more than about 12 minutes in length. We want to keep them so much short because of the attention span on YouTube and stuff, and these different streaming platforms. And it really bases the series is really based off his backstory and Cyclops and how he came about, and what he goes through, how he came about, and just really about him. So there was a lot of research we had to do for the whole series and stuff. I was reading like tons of comic books myself. So trying to make it accurate, and so everything people see in the series, especially in the first episode and stuff, it's all based on the comic books. So there is nothing what's made up. We're putting stuff in there, what's our own stuff we're writing in with it, obviously, but everything's referenced from the comic books. So it's a real treat for X-Men people. We want to make this, something special for them and for comic book fans, and for something that people enjoy. And we'll really hopefully, they tune in.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it because I was an X-Men comic guy growing up. Chris Claremont and John Byrne when he was doing it, and just love those series. Cyclops always. A lot of people say Wolverine. Cyclops was always my favorite.
No, same here. And that's the thing. In the Fox movies, the studio movies, Wolverine's the guy who's like overshadowing. He's the one who gets all the attention. Everyone's all about him. It's like, dude, he's a cool character, but like Cyclops is the hero of the X-Men, like you said, and he's a badass character. You read the comic books, he's a freaking muscular freaking.
Yeah, he's tough.
Tough mofo, man. So I don't know. So that's what we want to give some love to Cyclops.
So do you have cameos from other characters?
Yes, no, we do. Also Magneto. There's a lot of different people we're throwing in there, but I want to make a surprise. So
yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So you're going, will we see Cyclops in uniform, or is this kind of before that happens?
It's a lot of it's before then, but you will eventually see him in uniform.
That's exciting. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We wanted to make this also a authentic, more like modern. I mean, look, so a mutant is in these movies. It's hard to make, like, you have to. Best way to explain this is, we want to make like a modern day type of Cyclops. It's not fabricated. It's not cartoonish. Kind of like Chris Nolan.
It's kind of real life.
Yeah, like Chris Nolan, like the Batmans. It's a modern day Batman versus like a modern day X-Men type of thing. But obviously they have these mutant powers and stuff. But it's also to where people can relate to this character as well as like a normal human being. But he's not this very cartoonish like costumes and stuff. So it's very
well, if we had superheroes or mutants,
right?
Chances are they're not going to be in comic book superhero costumes. It's going to be more practical.
There you go. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, so like you will see him in his outfit eventually, but a lot of it's very modern day. Like you said, it's very practical. How they would be in real life. Not so much like this fabricated cartoon costumes.
Right. No leotard.
Right. There you go. Pretty much.
Well, so who helped you with the costumes? Did you have like an idea, or did you bring in somebody to kind of help with that side of it?
I brought in somebody. I brought in a wardrobe stylist, but I also have there's in Hollywood, there's this prop room place. What it also does, they design any prop you want. They help design costumes, all this stuff. So they helped me a lot with all that. So I had help, obviously.
It's amazing that that place exists. Like there was an episode of a show called Better Things, where she goes to that store and she has to have a fitting for some movie she's trying out for or something. But she goes to that store and they kind of show inside, and it's everything that you could possibly want. And then, but they take her to one particular part that fits that type of movie. I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they have everything now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So how did you handle the special effects, like the eye beams, that type of thing?
Good question. I brought in a special effects guy to help out all that stuff in post-production, which I hired on. Yeah. He did a phenomenal job. So that was something we wanted to make accurate and look cool. So that's something we really wanted to make good. So I brought someone on to help out that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So when were you acting like in front of a green screen at times?
No.
Okay.
As of right now, no. As far as what we filmed, so no green screens. Everything's shot on location, a lot of outdoor stuff. Like you see in the first episode, we actually shot that in Santa Clarita. Yeah. Over this overlook area. So yeah, everything's shot on location.
That's awesome. That's pretty great. So is Keith the director hard on Keith the actor?
Of course. I'm my worst critic, man. No, that's a good question. No, my worst critic. I want all my stuff to look 100% accurate and perfect. I'm a perfectionist in whatever I do when it comes to filmmaking and also acting. So I go all in, really, 100%. Yeah. So yeah, no, I want to make everything look and feel and be 100% as much, as accurate as what it can be.
I think that's so great. So what about the, when you're doing that, kind of version, do you have to jump through hoops as far as getting the rights to use the characters? How do you get around some of that?
Right. So that was a good question. We did, I did a lot of back research when it came to this, because I've never done my filmmaking career. I've never done like a fan film, a fan episodic. It's always been stuff that I like features, stuff I put out to the market and distributed through a distributor or now through my own self. I talked to a couple of entertainment attorneys and asked them this question and stuff, and I watched a ton of these fan films, and it's very gray area, but the conclusion, what we came to basically is with these all the fan episodic or fan films, as long as you make it known in the film, the beginning and the front, you put a disclaimer that this is a fan film, fan episodic for entertainment purposes only, not for profit, not for money. It's for free and for people to watch, for entertainment only. That's it. As long as you make that a clear point, like I said, as a disclaimer in the front, the back of the film, or the episodic in this case,
Yeah.
it's usually it's okay. Even the studios, they watch it, they like that. It actually helps promote their brand.
Right.
You just have to make that clear to them, what it is. So all these fan films, that's what they have. These disclaimers in the beginning and the end, and that's what safeguards it, so that you're not there to make money. You're there it's for entertainment only, for fun.
Yeah. Well, and why would as long as it's quality, why would they have a problem with that? Because it's not really, it's not competing with what they're doing. It's probably enhancing what they're doing.
Right. And that's what it is. And as long as it's not like a character that you make or something, or like based on their stuff is like super like off the high end, it's like totally like a psycho version of like their character, or what destroys their brand. Like maybe you made like a Batman who's like a psychotic guy killing everybody or something weird, like something, then maybe they'd be an issue. But if you're making something just as a fan project for people, and it's it's nothing like degrading their brand or their IP, then yeah, it's like why would it be an issue? And it hasn't been for a lot of this stuff. What people are putting out, it hasn't been an issue. They're all over YouTube.
Yeah, I was curious about that because it's all over the place. I mean, there's I see a lot of the Star Trek fan fiction gets out there, and there's a lot of that stuff. There was a Nightwing. I saw somebody had done a web series with Nightwing. And I always wondered about that, how that that side of it worked. But that makes sense. Why would it be an issue as long as it's not affecting the brand in a negative way?
Right. Yeah, no, that's how it works. I mean, so yeah, as long as it's not affecting that IP and stuff like that, negatively, then it's okay.
So how do you fund it? How do you get that made? Or were you doing the crowdsourcing or the GoFundMe? How did you get the funds to film? Because obviously that's not cheap.
Right. Yeah, I have my own investors and stuff I've had for film for many years now, from doing features and all my stuff prior. So I just my own investors basically that I've always had.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what's a successful result in your mind? What if you put this out, what makes it successful?
Good question. No, what makes it successful is that a lot of people watch it and tune in. Basically, that's what we want. We want people to watch it and people to be involved in commenting and what their opinions are on it and what they would like to see. I would love people to comment on the first episode and see what more they want to see. So it gives me more ideas what to write for future episodes. So basically tons of views and people commenting on that first episode and giving ideas of even what they would like to see. Because this is a fan episodic it's for the people. I mean, it's for people who love Marvel, love X-Men, love Cyclops, all that stuff. It's for them. So we want people to be involved, and the more views, the better. That's what makes it, what success is for this, basically.
So if Marvel calls and they're like, "We saw you playing Cyclops. We need one over here." Do you answer that call?
Absolutely, dude. I'm all on board, man. I'm all 100%, dude. Let's do it, man. 100%. Absolutely.
Because they absolutely need one.
Right. They don't have one. It's like I said, it hasn't, they haven't done that before. They have never done like that. They haven't done anything like that. So they should.
I'm interested to see how they kind of reboot the X-Men and bring them into the MCU and just how they, who's going to be. I guess they're kind of hinting that Professor X is going to be in Doctor Strange, so I guess that'll technically maybe be the first one. I don't know. We'll see.
Right. No, it'd be interesting. I'm gonna watch it. So let's see what happens. But if the Marvel Studios or any studios don't ever make a Cyclops Origins, we have one right here we're making. So So
no, what an idea. Good for you for kind of putting that together, because I think that's a terrific idea. He is low key like a really popular character, like
right.
especially among comic book people. Maybe not as much with the movie people that haven't really read the comics, because that wasn't the best version. But comic book guys, they love Cyclops. We all do. So I think that's really good.
Yeah, 100%, man. People who are the true comic fans, I think, hopefully will appreciate this. And he's a badass in the comic books for sure. So,
do you get into any of his like family history?
Yes. No, good question. We do. It goes back to like how he, I don't spoil too much, but I can, in the Origins comic book, Cyclops Origins is what it's called, the plane crash with how he started getting the migraines, and
right?
The optic glass in his eyes and stuff. And that's all that when he was a young kid, that's how it all came about. So we reference a lot of that stuff. So it shows people who have never read the comic book, we'll show them kind of like how that all came about and stuff like that. So I
think that's pretty cool, because he's got an interesting family history. Like some of his relatives and stuff also are interesting characters, let's say. So that would be, it'd give you a lot of paths that you could possibly go down.
Right. There's a lot of stuff we can put in there. So that's something like his dad and stuff to put in there, and reference that. That's something that some people don't even know about, really, like who are somewhat fans. I mean, the people who are true fans, they know a lot about him, obviously, but I'm saying the casual fan or people just who like X-Men, they might not know a lot about his dad and like.
Right. Don't you? I think it's kind of surprising that they haven't thrown his dad into like Guardians or somewhere just as like an Easter egg type of character. I'm surprised at that.
They should. I mean, that's what's not the spoiler. We plan on doing it. So
you're beating them to the punch, which is awesome.
That's the goal, dude. So yeah, it's this has never been done before. That's what we want. We want something new. So it's like that's never been done. So and it should be. So and it shows people who don't, they're casual fans or just know about X-Men and don't follow it as much. If they watch this, they'll see all these things like, oh, okay, I didn't know that about his dad and about all this back history about the plane crash and all this things that happened. This is kind of interesting. So it's information for them to watch and see.
Yeah, I think that's really great, and I'm excited to see events happen from Cyclops' viewpoint. Because even in the X-Men movies, he's in the movie, but you're not really seeing it from his viewpoint. So I think that's going to be an interesting take on it, because you can kind of see how he's processing what's going on around him.
Right. No, 100%. Yeah, this is about him. It's his viewpoint. It's his story. It's all him. So, like I said, in the X-Men movies, the Fox studio movies, it was like he was just kind of this guy in the background. Like it wasn't much about him. Really. It was all about a lot of it's Wolverine stuff, and this is really about him.
Yeah, I think that's cool. So was it when you're kind of workshopping this idea, did you go through other, heroes that you might do? Who didn't make the cut?
Actually, no. Good question. No, I did not. It came up strictly at Cyclops. Like me and my buddy were talking. Cyclops just came to mind. We were watching these fan films and stuff on YouTube, and I think we came across Gambit or something online, or one of the ones. Like, dude, no one's ever done Cyclops. Like, why would you Cyclops? That's something that's never been done. And like, people hit me up before, like, dude, you should do like a Marvel Cyclops movie. You look like Cyclops. I was like, and it came about the same time we were brainstorming. I was like, that's a funny thing that a couple of people said.
You do look like Cyclops. I mean, it's like when you're on camera, I'm like, that's Cyclops.
Yeah, that's what we want, man. That's part of acting. It's portraying this character. So that's what we want people to see and show. I mean, this is Cyclops. Basically, comic book Cyclops. So, but yeah, we just strictly, it was Cyclops. We didn't think of any other characters or anything. It was just him.
It has to be fun when you're doing something like this. Like I would have to hold myself back because I would load it up with so many Easter eggs. I would wear people out, but that has to be kind of fun being like, well, let's stick a little reference in here or something in the background over here that, the real fans will be able to kind of pick up on.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah. And that's the fun part about this. It's our own creative freedom and stuff that we can put into. We're not being guided by a studio or anyone else to where we put our own Easter eggs and our own stuff. And speaking of that, we actually, one little thing that we put in there, if you haven't watched the trailer, is we put a DeLorean in there. A DeLorean is like his car in the series that we put as his car that he drives. So Back to the Future fans, DeLorean fans is something of cool special treats. That's what we have in there.
Yeah, that's really cool. So are you the sole writer on the series, or do you have somebody helping you with it?
Mainly me, but I have another writer who helps me out with a lot of stuff. So we'll proof a lot of stuff, and we brainstorm on things. So I mean, it's me for the most part, though.
How much time have you put into this? Because you're handling so many different hats. That has to take up a lot of time.
It does. I mean, the whole filmmaking process and anything in the entertainment business is so time consuming. It's the most time consuming that you can ever do. There's a lot of back history I had to do, like I said, on the comic books, on Cyclops, and even my producing partner. So it's very time consuming. So I set the budget of my time wisely.
Yeah. How long did it take you to film the pilot episode?
That didn't take long. We did it in a few days.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah, we did it in a few days, very, very short. And the pilot episode is only like 5 minutes or so. And that's kind of just like an introduction to the character and to get people fired up and really want to tune in. It wasn't supposed to be a full, like, long episode. Like I said, the episodes we're not going to make longer than 12 minutes anyways, for specific reasons. Most people's attention span dies out after a few minutes on most stuff on YouTube. But yeah, it was shot pretty quickly. So as we're filming right now, everything's done in a few days for every episode.
Yeah, that's terrific. So you talked about it possibly going on longer. Will you split that up into a new season? Or will you just extend the first season?
Yes, absolutely. We're thinking about even doing like spinoffs of the first season. But we want to do this first season, like I said, minimum 5 episodes, possibly up to maybe 12, who knows, to see what people want. And then eventually close out a season and then do a spinoff of another season of this, basically. Would be great.
I think that's so terrific. Have you thought about when you get to the really getting into the marketing side of it? Will you guys be going to conventions? Will you be showing up at shows in costume? What will you be doing?
No, so that's funny you brought up Comic-Con. We plan to send to Comic-Con. The one in San Diego, one in LA, both of them.
Yeah.
And then also attending those conventions and stuff. I'll probably show up with a DeLorean, man, with the Scott Summers jacket and the sunglasses, dude. That's the goal.
I love it. Yeah.
No, we really want to market it there. Comic-Con's the big one. So we want to really market it there and shop it around there. This is something for people will probably be surprised to see. It's never been done before. So for it being there would probably be like, people will be blown away, hopefully. And posters and stuff of it. So that's where we really want to, hone in.
I mean, the convention side of it, that's almost like the reward for all of your hard work, because you get to interact with the fans and you get that positive reception that I know you're going to get. I mean, that's almost like you deserve that after everything you put into it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's what we want. We want fan interaction, we want people's feedback, what they want to see more of. And that's what inspires us to write more in different episodes, so we get even more ideas from what the fans want to see. It's a fan series, what they want to see. So, but it also our interpretation on stuff. But that'd be awesome. A big turnout and people wanting to see more and asking questions at a convention like that would be awesome.
Yeah. That's exciting. Well, Keith, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time. I can't wait to see the whole finished product. That's you're way up on my list of stuff to watch, because that's awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. No, definitely, tune in. I want people to tune in. You tune in, everyone watch it. Hopefully enjoy it, and like to see some feedback and see what happens from here. Yeah, for sure. So a couple things before we wrap up. Anything that anything else that you're working on that we can kind of keep an eye out for? Yeah, no, so I'm doing another episodic. I'm doing an episodic that's going straight to Amazon Prime, streaming and a couple of different streaming platforms. It's called Suitcase City, and that's releasing this spring. And that takes place in the future. These radical groups of these nuclear explosions, bombs, radiations kill off most humanity. So there's a city with basically controlling all these resources for survival, like oil, transportation, cars, food, water, ammunition, and stuff. Anyways, there's a city, and this gang and gang leader is controlling the city. And there's this militia of former cops who have come together. We're trying to regain, restore justice in the city. So it's kind of like a Sons of Anarchy, living the future drama. So that's what we're coming out with right now. I'm working on that, doing more episodes, and that's coming out in the spring. But yeah, that's mainly what I'm focusing on.
Exciting. Yeah, that's exciting. Is that an original idea? Is it based on a book? Where'd that come from?
No, it is an original idea. Actually, the funny thing is that was my very, very first feature-length script I wrote in 2015.
Wow.
And I decided to turn it into an episodic versus doing a full feature for a lot of different reasons. So yeah, I just came up with it, man.
That's awesome.
Writing the same thing.
Yeah, that's really cool. So last thing is, where can we go to see both of these, and where can we find you on social media?
Sure. So the Suitcase City you can find on Amazon Prime primarily, and then Vimeo, VOD. Come on some different streaming platforms. These Cyclops Chronicles, Scott Summers will come on YouTube primarily, and then also different streaming platforms for free. Anyone can go watch. Vimeo for free, YouTube free, and different other streaming platforms. So that's the best place to find it. And then if you want to follow me, you can find my Instagram at Keith Sutliff, Facebook, Keith Sutliff, and then my company site, KS Pictures LLC.
Yeah, that's so exciting. I wish you the best of luck, because I think this is it's the best idea I've heard in a long time. It's probably because I'm a Cyclops fan, but it's such a good idea, and I'm so excited about it because I can tell it's going to be really well done. Sometimes you can just see a few seconds of something, you're like, oh, I'm in. Yeah. And this is one of those things. I was like, I love the look, I love the car. Awesome.
I really appreciate it. And that's what we wanted to put into this. It's not, I've been filmmaking for years now, and we wanted to make a professional quality looking episodic series. And I've been fine tuning my craft with my cinematographer is great. Earl Weber's been, he's been part of an Oscar winning movie in 2010, music by Prudence. So he has a really good talents and eye as a DP, director of photography. So we wanted to make this as professional looking as possible, as studio quality level.
Terrific. I should have asked, are you doing any training for the role? You've been working out some.
Actually, good question. I did a ton of dieting and weightlifting and running for the role.
Yeah.
Building up to it was a lot of dieting and training, man. Just hitting the weights, running, dieting, building on some good lean muscle. So that was something that I had to do for it.
Although, and like an out of shape, overweight Cyclops, I would also be in on that.
Really? Right. Well,
like a down on his luck.
You could do it as like an older Cyclops, maybe I guess at work, or maybe he's during his off season where he's taking a break from leading mutants, and it's its own spin-off story, man.
That's right. That's right. I would watch that one too. Well, Keith, thank you so much. You have to come back once you get all this out, and we'll talk again.
Absolutely, it's coming out. So it's coming out at the very end of this month. The Cyclops, the first episode comes out, and Suitcase City comes out in the next month, so in May.
Oh, it's exciting. Some summer watching.
That's it, man. That's it. Summertime, here it comes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Keith. Hold on one second. Ooh, that was a pretty good one. I cannot wait for the Cyclops Chronicles. I hope you guys enjoyed that and are like me and just so excited. We've had difficulty with getting good quality X-Men material out there. A lot of people would say the Fox movies are hit and miss, let's say, on a good side. But this looks like something that we can all get behind. I'm so excited about it. And Keith's such a talented guy. really good actor, obviously a talented writer and a businessman. So really excited to see what he's putting out there, and I hope you are too. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again this week. Really appreciate that. Don't take it for granted. If you haven't done so yet, we could use your help on our YouTube channel, MeisterCon Pod. If you could subscribe, we really appreciate that. You can find all 400 or so episodes, audio and video, on our webpage, meistercon.com. If we're doing anything in studio, if we're going to a convention and covering, Keith playing Cyclops, it'll be on there. If we're doing something remotely, it'll be on there, meistercon.com. So definitely check that out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, bye everybody.